Jack, thank you for having me on this chat and giving me an opportunity to talk a little bit about chillin'. We've had a chance to work together for a while now, and we've had a lot of success with you bringing us some clients. And I thought it'd be a great opportunity to talk a little bit more and give like a little precursor and a little introduction of who we are as a brand, and maybe some key numbers and key metrics so that your investors could have a good understanding of what we are, what we aren't, and what it would be like to be a franchisee of our system. First and foremost, our company has been around since 2012, where we opened up our first ice cream location in Pinecrest, Florida. And what we are is we're a nitrogen ice cream shop that's making custom ice cream ready to order right in front of the customer, right in front of you. So we live in a world today where everybody wants something customized to their liking. And so what we've done is we've done that for the ice cream space. You get to do that at Starbucks when you go in. You get to pick your Starbucks, your coffee, any which way you want it. You get to do that at Chipotle. When you go in, they make your burrito, your taco, anything, any way you want it. And now you can come into an ice cream shop and you can pick regular cream to make your ice cream. We can also make your ice cream out of coconut milk, almond milk, oat milk, yogurt, tart, and then you add any ingredient and flavor that you want. And one of the reasons we're able to do this is because of the technology that we have. So we're able to actually flash freeze the cream and the base with the flavor, and under 2 minutes make ice cream using liquid nitrogen. So to give you a sense, the way ice cream has been made for hundreds of years is someone's been making it out of factory. They freeze it in a factory. They put it into containers. They put it in a truck, and then they take it to a store, hundreds of locations across the country. Someone comes, takes it off the truck, puts it in front of the refrigerator or the freezer, and then some little boy comes in on a weekend and says, "Hey, Daddy, I want the strawberry or I want the chocolate," right? What we do basically is we bring the factory to the location. And so, and we bring a high degree of technology to the process to make sure that every single ice cream is creamy, it's made to order, it's made exactly the same. So when someone orders an ice cream, you type in the order and it actually dispenses the right amount of cream in the right amount of base. We then add the flavor, and then we move that entire bowl under the mixer. We type in the order again, and the mixer will know exactly how much liquid nitrogen to put into the bowl and how long to mix the bowl for, depending on the size, depending on the base, depending on different flavor profiles, so that every single ice cream comes out exactly the same in terms of creamy finish. What does this do? This actually allows for more consistency in the product, because all we know that we want to make sure every customer has the same experience. But more importantly, in today's world, it also allows us to do more ice cream with less labor. So to give you a sense, our 8 stores right now that we have down here in South Florida, they average approximately about $560,000 in sales. That's as of the end of 2020. I will say that this year we're having a record year, and our sales are up more than 20% year to date. But as of last year, we were about $550,000 in sales, and the profit on that was about 18 to 20% profit in a normalized year. So if you take your average cost structure, you're probably bringing home about $100,000 on the profit line. So what we're looking for is franchisees that are willing to open stores for us. We provide all of the support. We provide the real estate support to help you find the location and help you negotiate the lease. We provide construction management support to basically help you with the construction, bidding out the project, doing the permitting, everything, so the franchisee doesn't have to do that. We provide you the training to assist you with all the training for in the stores, to train your team and also to train you and your partners. And then we provide ongoing support with our franchise business managers. And in addition to that, we provide marketing support. So all of this, we're basically providing you support. And what we're looking for is franchisees that have good business acumen, They need to invest between $300,000 and $350,000 to open up a store. That can range a little bit depending on the condition of the site. We're looking for something between 800 and 1,200 square feet to open. And we typically like to go into areas where there's a lot of families and kids. Excuse me. So from the time you sign an agreement to the time that you open a store with us, it can take anywhere from 8 months to a year. Really depends, but a lot of that is really real estate driven. We have to make sure that the real estate is the right real estate. Visibility, co-tenancy, the terms, parking availability, drive-through, drop by and pick up and drive capabilities, so that when you do delivery service, they can stop and park and get out and pick up the delivery service. So all of these things are very, very important for us. The other unique advantage that Chillin has over a lot of the other competitors is we do a lot of delivery service. Unbeknownst to a lot of people, we can actually do delivery very well with ice cream. And the reason being is that we control the nitrogen. So when we know that someone is going to take their ice cream to go, or when someone is going to order it for delivery, we actually freeze it a lot more than regular, so that it's almost as hard as a rock by the time it's done. And then we put it in a bag and we give it to the delivery person. And so that is good for a good 10, 15-minute drive, so that by the time it gets to your house, by the time you take it to your house, you're taking it out and it's not soup, and so that's something that it's a really nice competitive advantage that we have over our competition. So we do about, during the pandemic last year, was almost as high as 60% during the months of March and April. But now we're hovering somewhere around 20% of our business is delivery. So to give you a sense of that. Now, listen, I recognize that a lot of the people that work with you, Jack, are looking for a way to come into this country through visa investments. And I recognize that some other visa opportunities are a much lower investment hurdle to get into the visa programs. And I recognize that. We are not that opportunity, right? We're going to try to get into a location as cheap as possible. But I would say that everyone we're looking to talk to should expect to spend about $300,000 to $350,000. Excuse me. Are there any questions for you?
For sure. No, I think that was a really great summary on the differentiating, both from the product and also the offering that Chillin offers to potential franchisees, investors. So thank you again for that, David, and for jumping on the call today. I would say the first question I have, I know a lot of our clients ask, what are their responsibilities? Let's say from the time that they open up, right, or leading up to the open up, how do they manage the store and all that? What's their focus?
Yeah, I mean, look, I would say that before you open up, a lot of your responsibilities are going to be on the teams that I bring to the table, right? So it's really working with us. From the time you sign an agreement with us to the time you open, I'm doing a weekly call with you just to see how the progress is going, update you on the real estate, update you on the construction, try to see what questions you may have. So we have two different models, as you know. We've already done a couple deals with your team for some franchise candidates who are interested in us operating the stores for them. And this is not a model that we do often, but occasionally we will do a model where we would actually operate the stores for the franchisee. They are 100% owner of the business, and it's just a consulting agreement where we would operate the stores with our team, and we would handle all of the operations for the store, and we would work into that a profit split at the end of the day. But if you do decide to operate the stores and retain 100% of the profitability of the store, we would expect you to basically be involved in the store. Now, you can be involved in the operations of the store in two ways. One is, I have a current business, I want to be a semi-absentee owner. You would probably have to dedicate somewhere between 10 and 15 hours a week if you want to be a semi-absentee owner. And that's pretty much processing paperwork, doing interviews, maybe talking about some inventory problems, making sure that your team has everything they need, and that your assistant manager or your manager has everything he needs to execute the store. The other option is I want to work in the store myself. And then obviously, you would probably, need to be in there, 20, 30, 40 hours a week if you plan on doing that yourself. And then obviously you'll be involved in a lot more of the day-to-day grind that goes with operating a store. To give you a little insight, every store hires approximately 12 to 15 employees. Now, almost every employee in there is a part-time employee. If you're going to be a full-time manager there, then you'll be the only full-time employee there. But if you're going to be a semi-absentee owner, then you might have a manager that's a full-time employee, working there 40 hours a week. So at any given time in the store, you will have anywhere from 2 employees to 5 employees. So on a Friday or Saturday night, you might have 5 employees because it's very, very busy. But maybe on a Tuesday afternoon, you might only need 2 employees. So the good thing about our technology is even with 2 employees, you can produce a lot of ice cream because we've automated the mixers. So one person can make 4 ice creams at once. So that's something that really helps with the labor line. In addition to that, we do have self-checkout kiosk. So imagine a line of people coming in. You can actually focus on staying at the production side of the store, making the ice cream while the customers are typing in their orders. So it makes it very easy. So you don't need someone at the cash register running back and forth from the cash register to making the ice cream. So does that help explain a little bit of the models that we have?
For sure. That's super helpful, and I think it's good for individuals to understand the kind of how Chillin's really, I would say, on the forefront of this whole ice cream market. It's kind of where the market's going, and it's interesting to see how you've incorporated a lot of these technologies that most other companies haven't even thought of to make it that much easier to really help the owner manage the business that much more efficiently. I would say a question that I think any individual should know, right? When looking at a franchise, is what makes for a successful franchisee.
Yeah. So look, I think we do a lot of work on making the operations of our facility very easy and very easy to execute for your team, so that you can focus on 2 things. I think the most successful franchisees do 2 things really, really well. One is the customer experience is phenomenal. So not only are the customers getting their ice cream on time, but the customer experience of when they come in, the friendliness of the staff, the cleanliness of the store, the speed of service, that experience is something that a franchisee puts a high value on. That's key number 1. The second is making sure your team is valued just as much, right? Because the longer the tenure of your team is, the higher productivity each of them have, the happier they are, all of those things that come into creating a great work environment. So those 2 things are key. And then the last but not least, I think someone who understands, who can pay attention to the metrics of the business, right? So this is a penny business, right? So yes, your profitability can be 18 to 20%, but at the end of the day, you get to that 18 to 20% by making sure that you're counting, things every day, and you're making sure that you don't have a lot of waste, right? You're making sure that you make sure the inventory is done right. You make sure, so you have a checklist, so if you're good at following checklists, if you're good at, following orders and a manual, if you're good at reading instructions and saying, I can do this, I think you're perfectly made out for being a franchisee of ours. If you're more of the type that gets a manual and puts it aside and says, you know what, I could figure this out on my own, and I don't like the way they said to do this, I think the better way to do this is this, you're probably not made out for franchising in general, because we definitely have been doing this for 9 or 10 years. We've kind of mastered the process of operations. We do value input greatly. Like I want input from someone, but I don't want to renegade, if that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And I think on the last point you brought up, we've seen that with, just franchising in general, it's, franchisors tell us our best franchisees are the ones that follow the standard operating procedure that we've developed over all these years, right? Franchisor, you guys, Chillin has taken, the idea is basically you guys have taken a lot of risk up front, solved up the model, see what works, and then you basically give a lesser risk model to franchisees to come in and basically build off of all your knowledge you've gained. So
that's it. And listen, at the end of the day, right? That's the advantage of opening up a Chillin versus, Maria's ice cream shop, right? You have also a huge resource of knowledge of things that have happened and things that have worked and things that haven't worked. And whenever you have a problem in your store, you have an entire corporation behind your back to help resolve that problem, as opposed to trying to figure this out on your own, right? So, to your point, we've made many more mistakes than you're ever going to make in your store. And so we want you to learn from the mistakes that we've made. And that's how we've come up with some of these SOPs, standard operating procedures, to make sure that you don't have to repeat some of the errors that we've made over the years. That's not to say that mistakes aren't going to be made, but we're going to be able to resolve them together a lot quicker as a team in a franchise organization than you would as an independent run business.
No question. I think it's a great point. Now, in terms of the revenue side, just to understand best, what drives, I guess, customers to the door? Is it marketing? Is it location? Is it these delivery apps? Just to understand that. And then also the cost side, like what are the biggest cost drivers for the business? Yeah, good question.
Look, in terms of driving revenue to the store, really everyday traffic, you have two primary rushes during the work week. And that is, one is after school. So typically between 3 and 4, you're going to get a rush of people. And then it's usually after dinner. And so anywhere from like 6:30 to close, you pretty much have another rush of close. So typically making sure that your location is on the way back from school, on the way back from sports, on the way home, is going to be make you a lot more visible to the people who are going to come into your store. So we drive people into the store by creating connections with the local schools and the local businesses and the local organizations. So we do a lot of grassroots marketing and do a lot of online social media marketing as well. On the top level side, we have some revenue channels that we really depend on, which is, once again, it's the families with kids, which are going to be a big revenue. We have 2 big drivers in the day, which are really the after school crowd and then the after dinner crowd. And so we want to make sure that you're ready for those crowds in your stores. On the weekends, usually it's all weekend long. And so the closer you are to the parks, the closer you are to where people live, the closer you are to the schools, the churches, all of that stuff, which we'll take care of, obviously, on the location and the real estate side. You'll be able to handle all the influx of people that come in for your business. The other thing is that you will be required to spend 3% of your sales in marketing, in local marketing spend. That could be social media, that could be grassroots marketing, which is going out to the local high schools, local middle schools, and trying to do fundraisers. So what we've learned over the years is that people are going to come into your store and ask if you would like to make a donation to the Little League, to the volleyball team, to the science club, to all of these different organizations that need fundraising to stay afloat. What we have learned that's provided a better return on investment for us and what our franchisees are doing is that we, in exchange for a fundraiser, we actually do fundraising in our store. So we'll do a day for your organization where anyone who comes into the store and says, I'm here as part of the Little League, we'll give back 20% of all the sales generated for that organization. So that's a win-win for us. You actually end up making more money through that than, $100 that we would give you or $200. But it's also good for us as a franchisee because we know how much business is being generated from that organization, right? So all they have to do is come in, tell us what organization they're in. We type a button, we hit a button on our POS, and at the end of the day, you know how much sales were generated from this fundraising event, and you give 20% to that organization. So all of these things work towards your 3% marketing goal in your local market. So those are the things that we do to kind of help drive in business. On the cost side, obviously your primary cost is going to be the base, right? So your cream, and we already have fixed pricing and fixed relationships with distributors. My primary distributor is Cisco, so we can distribute to almost anywhere in the country. And so you'll be getting distribution and deliveries from them a couple times a week. But your primary cost will be that cost of good, which is really the cream or the base. And then your next two big costs are going to be your labor and your rent, right? So those are the three primary costs, honestly, for any restaurant that you open, right? So you got your cost of goods sold, you got your rent, and you got your occupancy costs. And as long as we have a good handle on those three things, we can get to a pretty nice profitability number.
For sure. Well, David, thank you for going into details there. It's very interesting on the fundraiser side. I actually didn't know that's how it worked, and that's kind of the best way for these businesses to go about it. It makes a lot of sense intuitively once you explain it. All right. Well, another question I had is, if an investor would or a franchisee would like to, they watch this video, they're interested in chilling. They say, hey, I would like to learn more. I want to go through the process. What is the process? What are the steps for someone to become a chillin' franchisee?
Yeah, well, there's two steps. First and foremost, I would recommend that you contact Visa Franchise directly and tell them, look, I'm interested in talking to Chillin'. And we also have chillin.com. You can reach out to us there. There's obviously a website. There's more information there. There's videos there. There's a lot of data there. But I would say primarily, you guys have been great with bringing people to the table and giving them some more information. The goal of this video is really to give you a little precursor of what you're getting into. So if you think you qualify, we want to have people that have at least $250,000 in liquidity in order to qualify. The investment is going to be $350,000. So if you're going to seek financing, you're going to need at least $200,000 in liquidity to qualify. If you're not going to qualify for financing because you're a foreign investor, then chances are you're going to have at least $350,000 in liquidity. So if you reach that liquidity threshold that you're willing to invest, and you think you like what I'm telling you, then I would say get in touch with Jack and the rest of his team, and they'll be more than happy to put you in touch with us. And what we have as a next step, now that you've gotten a really good understanding of what it is at our foundation, is we have a deeper dive conversation, which is a webinar that lasts about an hour and a half. I show you designs. I get into the details of everything. I show you an entire P&L, and we just ask a lot of questions and answers and get into the nitty gritty of what it takes to be a franchisee. So be more than happy to do those calls with people that are interested in learning a little bit more.
Got it. Well, we'll appreciate that, David. In terms of questions, or the kind of the most important questions that we know our clients ask or have asked in the past, I don't have any more. I mean, I think you really did a great job covering kind of the main topics that an interested party might want to know in order to figure out whether they would like to learn more and move forward or not. So that's been very helpful. So with that, I don't have any other questions. I don't know. Is there anything else you wanted to go over before we end this?
No, it's been great working with your clients. I'm happy to say that they're very happy so far. We're looking forward to open their stores in 2022. And but so far the real estate and the construction process have been going very, very smoothly. So I'm looking forward to talking to more of your clients and seeing how we can help them become franchisees, and more importantly, come to the US and start opening businesses here. For sure. And I'll be the first one in line once those stores open up. Can't wait to have some chilling. My only other comment is, my family's from Latin America, so if we ever have to speak in Spanish, I can definitely feel freely to do these presentations in Spanish if someone prefers, and to speak in Spanish. For sure, that's actually a great point. It's good to mention, as you know, you've worked with a number of our clients. They prefer Spanish, and so that's great to have the optionality. So, David, really appreciate your time. Really appreciate you guys working with us. Our clients have been very happy. So thank you again for joining us today. Thanks, Jack. Great talking to you.